Hello, darlings. Yes, look at that. No song today. We are going to make a lantern for Mr. Gary. Now, Mr. Gary has been a fan and follower of me, my shows, for 18 years. Going on 19 if I keep going. Of course, the format's changed since I've come to YouTube. Actually, I started changing it when I went to Twitch. But all things must change, right? I went 13 years with the same basic format of reading cards, card of the day. I always start off with the card of the day for everybody. And then having everybody queue up, give them a card from whatever deck they wanted, whichever deck. We always had at least a dozen decks on call. But, you know, I started doing that to teach people how to be more psychic themselves instead of buying into the bogus bullshit, and there's a lot of that. And it's very disturbing that it's as bad as ever, you know. People need to become more empowered as individuals instead of following what other people keep saying. One of the reasons I switch up is I don't want followers. When I say that, I mean I don't want people following me like I'm a guru, because I'm just another speaker. And everybody is a speaker when they allow what you call spirit to just run through them. But that doesn't mean their inspiration is coming from a good place. Usually, unfortunately, when I hear some of these people, it's clearly coming from a very human place, not spiritual at all, but more from the I want to control your thoughts sector, and that's definitely not what we're about. Humans have developed cell by cell, year after year, in the way they have because they have the greatest potential, not because of superiority, but because they're good tools for us. Us being an entity, a collection of entities that don't fully manifest here, but do power us. And when we're done, they pull the plug or collapse the equation. Not a bad thing. We don't go anywhere. We live in a very interesting place, and as beings, we've been having a pretty good time, but the problem is the human brain is also still very primitive, and people are still addicted to primitive concepts that don't help us in our quest for diversity and innovation and creation. That's why we bother coming here and going through the trials of being born. It's very hard to get stuff done when you're this big, you know. So we do have to keep coming, taking time to grow up, and then if we are waylaid by less advanced entities, I guess, just basically the babies of the world, they really can slow things down. And right now we still have people slowing things down, and for me that's kind of irritating, but it is what it is. Everybody's here for their own adventure. Just like when my father visited me to tell me, well, he didn't come just to tell me that he wasn't actually dead, but that was what I learned very quickly. And even then, it's like, well, are you here so that I should tell people? I can tell them that they don't die so they're not afraid? And he said, no. As soon as someone dies, they know they're not dead. You don't have to tell them anything. Everybody's here to do their own thing, and that includes misbeliefs about what they are and what they're capable of doing, or what they think they're supposed to do. do grow up with a lot of shoulds that, well, shouldn't be out there. Again, you know, reflections of the beliefs that walked before us. But every generation, every individual, you're not here to keep walking in other people's footsteps. As hard as that it is to let go of, it's not why we're here. We do it because we don't know what else to do when we first get here. Humans are slow learners. We have to have help for a while. But that's not the worst thing. Just what's worse is just holding us back. Maybe a little of the soft pink. This is really a hard-ass color. But that is a brilliant, fiery color too. Oh, we got the nearly white pink here. This is too pale. Now, the most fun part of doing this is picking out the colors and putting the wool down. And then comes the work. Putting the wool down is way faster than doing the work. All right, so we've got, okay. Yeah, it's merino. Oh, that's gorgeous. That should do it for that color. Oh, that should do it. Some of this gorgeous, gorgeous orange. Is this merino? It is. Going weird. This is softer than Corriedale. I like it. So this is going to felt up very quickly. Yes, we're going to have to throw some flames in there. This time I'm going to try and get more of a horizontal pattern instead of vertical like actual flames. where am I here? Here we are. There you are. Hello, dear. I didn't have my chat up, so I did not see you. Come in. Alright, and now we have to have some of the purple for the bottom. And I got this gorgeous purple here. We've got some already loose. We don't want too much because it'll make it too dark at the bottom. Oh, wait a second, there's sound on my phone. Yep. We don't want that. Yeah, that's plenty. You can't have a fiery sunrise or sunset without some purple. Ta-da! Okay, Timmy. You like the colors? Yes? Good. Now, I'm making sure that I have extra here on the table. I don't think I'm going to actually have to use all of it, but it is two-sided, so. Yeah. Now, the most important thing to learn about this, Gary, is number one, it's washable by hand, like a wool sweater. Just a little plain water in most cases. If you just feel a need, you got to wash it. But every time you get it all wet, and possibly after you get it, because it's going to be shipped flat, you're going to have to stretch it over something like a mason jar or a vase. Now, when it first arrives, it's clean. You don't have to wash it. And it doesn't have to be wet to reshape it. It'll have its basic shape like memorized, so you just have to put it over something and then gently form it, which is a nice creative thing to do. And the more you rub it, by the way, the more it gets felted. If it over time gets too fuzzy, you can shave it. Like I have a lint cutter. It's awesome. And that takes little bumps off clothes and stuff. Well, you are really dense. Look at that. That's because the staple is this long. The hair is this long. I mean, this is... All right, we'll just do it this way. You are more fuzzy. This is definitely a Corriedale. It's a coarser wool. That's good because it's on the bottom. Oh, good, excellent. I know you'll appreciate it, Gary. But if you get tired of it, it'll make a nice gift for somebody else. Cool, you're set to go. I do feel like I really like being able to share things for specific people. You know, when you know that they're going to care for it, and you want to leave a little bit of your heart with them before you leave the planet. Wow, this is really... Look at this. Very long hair. And we don't want it to be too long. Because we don't want this whole thing to be yellow, but We do want the colors to overlap, so when light comes through you get multiple colors at once. And even just leaving it in a window, a sunny window, it just lights up like crazy. But I found that those little battery, not the tea lights, because they're kind of dull unless you buy a bigger one, those little Halloween lights or holiday lights, just the teeny seed lights, you know, on like a 4-6 foot at the most, like they're, you know, every season they come out, they're $2 or $1.50, whatever. Battery powered. I had a Halloween one, orange and purple, so I put the purple one inside the rainy day vase I made, and it is stunning. Oh my goodness, it's so nice and bright, and it highlights all the different textures and colors in the vase. I keep calling it a vase, but it's not a vase, you know what I mean. There's actually the real thing they're calling them is a hurricane lamp. Well, they grow, and then they grow and grow until they're sheared. Hair just keeps growing. Oh, yes, I'm starting with this. Now, the silk and stuff, it does not felt. It has to be caught between layers of wool. So we're going to start right away with putting some random silk threads in here. Some interesting shine and texture. Oh, and by the way, they're reversible. You can turn it inside out if you like the inside pattern better, but that you will probably have to wet part of it and put it over that vase. But you can do it inside out. Come on. You know, I've got to find a different storage method than these bags. Even though this is a different material, there's still some static to it. And that's just a pain. That would be amazing. I need to check that out. I don't have a solar one, but that would be perfect. Because it sits in the windowsill all day. And I just have some old-fashioned battery ones. Do you remember where you got those? Ooh, that looks so cool. I know you can't quite see it yet, but the blending of the colors is just gorgeous. Okay, we don't want to put too much in yet. It has to be layered back and forth, so it's going to get dense automatically. And I wanted to put some little windows in here too. So we will be cutting out some little windows. Now this is way too, it gets dark very easily, and I don't want it to get too dark too fast. In color. It'll block out the lights that you put in there if it's too dark. Now, if you're going for an atmospheric kind of a thing and you need it dark, you know, like if you did a black and blue and purple lantern for Halloween, let's say, which would be pretty cool. Okay, first layer some orange viscose. Now this has to, we want this to be sunrise, sunset-y. Now this stuff does not felt, so it's got to really be spread out. Okay, now we can make the crisscross. Oh, cool. I'm sure that you will enjoy it. I love mood lighting, so this new ability thrills me. I had, yeah, I guess it's past tense. I lost so many wonderful hardcover books in the floods, multiple floods. I had one on paper art, like paper cutting and molding and just whatever you could make out of paper, like, so there were a lot of like lampshades and of course greeting cards, but it wasn't focused on cards. It was more like things you could use in your environment. Weaving paper to make window shades. So many fun ideas, and I love paper. As you can see, my curtain behind me and in the kitchen is mulberry paper, Chinese mulberry watercolor paper. Ooh. So this is kind of like paper arts, only you're making your paper. You are definitely a strong wool. I didn't end up not using any of the pink. It's okay. All right. Now, let's do the other direction. And make sure the bottom is stronger enough so when I pull it, it doesn't go anywhere. It's such a vibrant blend. Yeah, very alive, full of light. The higher end of the chakra colors. We want that to be nice and light so that the outer rim lights up from the light inside. It makes it really glow with the yellow at the top. Okay, let's get a hand towel. No, I can use that. And we need to batten this down so I can flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. I'll cover it before I squash it. Careful not to make that run into my lap. Oh, that's going to be delicious. Look at that. Hell yeah. Okay, let's get the other piece. Go. Make this a little more even. A little bit. Okay. Okay, I am going to stick an extra piece of plastic in there to keep that from felting. Where's my scissors? There. I see that dark hair. Thank you. Oh yeah, I am very happy with the colors. That would be kind of impressive, wouldn't it? Okay. Now let's do this side. Is that all the purple? I guess we don't really need any more. It does come up to here. So we're just going to move right into the pink. Oh, I've got some ready to go here. I'd love to have a dress like this. Ooh, an umbrella. How great can a day be when you're looking at these colors right overhead? I have two sun umbrellas, and the first one I got is really cool because the outside is black, and it's a shade umbrella, you know. But underneath it, it's this blue sky with puffy white clouds. I love that umbrella. But then I got a fancier one that's also black on the outside. No, it's black on the inside. It's a shade umbrella, but it's really fancy. It's all gold frills and flowers and sequins. Looks like I'm going to a ball. I love it. I'll be using it this summer. Okay, let's get out the silk and viscose. Okay. And my day is gray. There you go. A spirit lifter, which is exactly what these are meant to be. Something that you look at and it warms your heart and lifts your spirit. Orange, I need more orange. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous orange. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I better take an extra poof just in case. I can always use it in something else. I got enough yellow? No, not quite. We need an extra little poof of that too. Come here. Oh yeah, this one's the pain in the butt. That should do it. Okay. We may continue. Now when this gets all soapy and all, the colors get really dull looking. But then after you wash all the soap out, it is just amazing. This is so thick down here, I don't really think I need to add anything. But just in case, we're going to put a little bit more magenta. Okay. And now the final coating. Actually, let's do this first. Ah, I'm going to have to get more magenta. Look at that. My calculations weren't that far off. But it is handy to have this stuff in a little excess, I guess. Come here. It's always such a miracle to me to see these frail little fibers turn into something really strong. This that I made yesterday, this could be like a car seat. This stuff is really, this is tough. You can see why this made coats for winter. I am so happy about it too. I went to learn more about needle felting, and the website showed wet felting as well, and one video led to another, but from the very first, it was intoxicating. And what's cool is there are a lot of people just like me. It's not just a hobby, they get passionate about it, and it's like, yeah, I need to be around people like that. Oh, thank you. That's refreshing. I still have a headache I've had all day from the pollen, I guess. I hate when the house gets stuffy. So I checked the weather and it said that the pollen was at moderate and the air quality was overall pretty good. So I decided to go ahead and open up the windows and have my tea. And before I was done with my tea, I noticed that my eyes were starting to feel a little weird, you know, allergy. And when I went in the bathroom to wash up, I had bags under my eyes, which I don't normally have much of. That's when it's first thing in the morning. That's usually from the way you sleep or dehydration overnight. So if you have bags under your eyes, make sure you're drinking lots of water. All right, we're going to put the yellow down, and then we are going to begin the wetting process again. All right, let's see how we did. Wait, we can go down a little further. You squash from the center out gently, because they're all just loose hairs right now. It's like a wool pancake. And now doing this gets all kinds of neat patterns and lights and texture. Okay, at this stage, it's just a baby. And you handle it like a baby. Pat, 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 pat. No heavy rubbing. But little by little, the water is helping it glom onto itself. And look, they're getting all these awesome different oranges mixed in with the pink. Okay. So it takes a few minutes of just being super gentle. That looks like it could have some more orange going up the side, doesn't it? No, I'm cutting little windows over here. Oops. We don't do the cutting of the windows until closer to the end. Okay, make circles. Well, that's nice. I would hope that you also take time to enjoy your life. I know you do. We work to stay alive in some manner of comfort, because the alternative is to become a hobo. But you have to have some kind of skill to trade for your food as you move along. Have you ever seen any of those Depression era videos? Life during the Depression, hobos, what they did, how they were and how they were perceived, etc. They're pretty interesting. Made me glad I was born in the 50s instead of the 20s. Oh, that's gonna be nice and lacy. Yay. I definitely worked so that my dogs and cats could have a better life. They were my children. And they were about as expensive as children, human children, so it does a heart good to be able to take good care of your babies, four-legged or two-legged. Where's my tweezers? Oh, hi, when little things get stuck. There you are. I don't know where these come from. I guess it's just a little speck of dirt. Just shows up very well against the wool. You're so good at... Oh, at this? Well, when I go looking for lessons, I look for advanced beginners. Because that's what I am. I'm a beginner, but I've gotten some skills that make me a little bit past plain beginner, but I'm still a beginner. Everything is an experiment, even though I'm getting good at some things. Now, I have seen things that they've done with felt that are interesting, but they don't appeal to me. You know, I just don't have any interest in learning because I don't really want to do that or wear that, you know? Like, there is this one thing that's really cool, and I want to try it, but then I think about what can I apply it to and be satisfied. Is I think it's called shibori. It's a Japanese art of making your felt, and while it's wet, you wrap marbles or buttons or all of that things, textural things, and you wrap it and like you tie it off with a rubber band or a string, and you make them all close together, and you just do a whole bunch of them and let it dry. And when it's done, you can just turn it over and squeeze all the marbles and stuff out, and you have all these little like mushrooms. It looks really cool, and I've seen people do it for like for decorating hats and things. And I've seen a scarf with it, but it's like, that's really cool. I know it's really soft in reality, but it looks so big and bulky, and I don't like that look unless it's going on my hat. So they make them look like berries and cherries and or flat top things. It looks really cool, like little saucers. Or actually, they look a lot like mushrooms when the mushrooms are first coming up. So it's a really fun looking thing, but I know how to do it, and I believe if I did it, I would be successful at that. It's just like I said, I can't think of an application personally, but should that come up, I will know how to do it and feel confident about it. What I'm less confident on right now is doing the resists. Oh man, me too. My ex-husband, number one, he married a Japanese woman. He goes, this was the first year in a long time apparently, because he had an official duty in California, but usually he and his family go and spend a month in Japan, because they're from Japan, except for my ex-husband. Now, there are definitely things I love about Japan, and we've got somebody that Meg Tart went to Japan last year for the first time, and they got on one of those tours where they could get a couple of cooking lessons, so they got to cook a couple of regional dishes. Well, it's going to be commensurate with your income, so it just depends. They're also very prone to earthquakes there, like all the time. I don't think I could do that any more than I could stay in California for the same reason. I loved a lot of things about California, but not the earthquakes. They might not cost a lot because they fall down. There's always a reason behind pricing. Now here in America, it's greed. A little different. Other places have more control. Ooh, shrinking already. Yum, yum. Oh, those colors are great. What shaped window would you like me to put in here? Would you like some little ones? I can't go very big because we don't want to take away from the structure, but I can put some little ones in, and there'll be little windows on, well, to let the light through. That would look pretty cool. And maybe a little further over. I think we'll do something like that. What am I looking at there, Gary? I'm too nearsighted. I think I'm going to go with little circles. Kind of like anemones, underwater anemones. Yeah, I think I'm going to try that. I don't want to take way too much from the structure, because this is a soft product. Okay, it's time to remove some of the suds. Kind of like a sunrise right there. Oh, that'll be cool. Thank you. Okay, I got all my little towels cleaned today. They're just not folded and put away. They're hanging off the back of my chair right now. Can you hear it? Okay, definitely not fully felted, but we needed to get rid of some of this excess fluid here. Okay, just balance there. Thank you. Okay. Hang there and dry. Now this makes things felt faster. Charlie, hello darling. Well, it's cheap enough to mail something to him because he's on the same coast as me. And he's been waiting a long time to get a piece of art. And I would love to be able to send you something. But sending something overseas is such a major expense and pain in the ass. because I'll be mailing something that's under 2 ounces and still have to fill out all the paperwork for customs. I'm glad. I didn't think you were the jealous type. But eventually, yes, I would love to send you something from me. But if I'm going to go through all that, I'd probably send you a box with more than one thing in it. Because that's what grandmas do. We'll wait until the fuel drops a little bit and some of our prices go back to normal, or at least stop rising. Oh, I know. Like, I adore Richard, but I stopped sending him anything because the last time I sent him a 1-pound box of Halloween candy, it was $52. That's like 52 euros for one little box. I was not happy, but I wanted a surprise with American candy and all that, and Halloween celebration, the way we do it here. And that was the last time I sent something abroad. Like, oh my goodness. I don't actually mind filling out the paperwork. I used to do that when I shipped eggs. I had people who collected eggs, and that went all over the world. But, I mean, I haven't done that in years, and the price of that was reasonable, I thought. Plus, the client always pays the shipping. So what goes on today, my darling? Is the complaining still going on? Has it settled down a little bit for the day or weekend? Hopefully you'll have a peaceful weekend. I really like that I can put this in a regular mailing envelope if it's small enough. Now, when I send things distant, they go in a bubble wrap pack for protection. But it can, I've already sent a few things like to Gloria. That's just, you know. Now this, you would not believe how hardy this is. This was yesterday's failed experiment. I cut out that shape in plastic and then felted over it and then cut away the excess today. But I had too much detail and then not enough detail, so it sucks. But at least I know I'm on the right path. Well, that's very good. That's a really good thing. If it blows over fast, that's healthier than holding on to it. It's when they keep bringing it back up day after day. It's like or a year later, they bring it back up. Like my poor nephews, I warned them, and they were telling me, well, one of them was telling me about trying to deal with his mother, my youngest sister. And, you know, she's got mental health issues, and she's very passive-aggressive, and when they try to make sense with her, and she doesn't want to hear any kind of sense, she goes on the attack and the guilt thing. And I said, look, I'm telling you right now, she will bring up stuff from your childhood that she still wants you to be grateful for, okay? Before you know it, you're going to be apologizing for having breastfed. So you've got to understand she's going to pull out all of that to make you feel bad for her situation, which you had nothing whatsoever to do with. And he started laughing because she'd already pulled that kind of shit. Like that. that it's not your fault. It's a mental health issue. She needs help. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not going to change. Don't think that if she moves in with you, you're going to help her change. She will drive you insane instead. She's got a lot more time and experience being crazy and making people around her suffer for it. So I recommend that if she starts getting suicidal in her threats, if they don't take care of her the way she wants, that they do a mental health call and have her go in the hospital for a week or a month. Because there they will kind of force therapy onto her. In this state, it's a good thing. It's like if you need help and you won't go voluntarily, if you cause enough people enough trouble, then you're going to get that help whether you want it or not. They're going to say, we're done with that. It's time for you to grow up. Oh, we're still lifting a little bit. So what is your next plan of action, Charlie? What's up for this weekend? Now that it's officially the weekend. Studying Latin, working out, and reading books I enjoy. All right. Sounds like a good plan. So how's the driving going so far? It's such a wonderful feeling of freedom when you can finally get out on the road, right, Gary? I felt like that was the day I truly became an adult, when I got my first car. Because, yeah, you instantly get all the adult responsibilities that go with it. Oh, good. Good luck. Yes, that would be nice. She speaks the language. I love driving. I miss having a car. But even when my nephew offered to give me exactly the kind of car I like, I couldn't accept it because I couldn't pay for the insurance. Even with my good record, it'll never be low enough at this income rate. Oh, I know. That's how it is. But on those occasions that you can get away, it's wonderful to know that you can get in the car, go to another town for lunch, Just take yourself out. Forget the impulse, you know. I think from having to be more independent as a musician, it made me bolder about going out, because almost every single person I knew, including a bunch of men, they did not want to go out to eat on their own. They were like, I can't eat out by myself. What? Bring a book. That's what I do. So I just don't get it. But then you see the ones that were as comfortable. I go to the cafes in the village, and you see people by themselves. I like that. Well, maybe she'll improve if she helps you. One of my neighbors has a health aide, and she's Basque. And she was doing laundry at the same time I was, but she was listening to an English lesson. And I like how they're teaching them now a little bit better. Like, she was going over all the stuff that's in a kitchen. And they said it in an adult voice and in a child's voice, which was interesting because you got to hear it in different registers and I guess relate to it differently. But unfortunately I couldn't understand the Basque, but I did understand the English, so I knew what she was doing. It's like, that's cool. I like seeing that. Her English is terrible. She has a smidgen of French, a smidgen of Spanish, but she's Basque, so she, you know. Okay, Charlie. Oh God, Gary Wyatt, I understand you want to see your mother, but Florida, ugh, what a terrible time to go. I mean, time of insanity. Oh, I've never minded eating alone, but I mean when you eat out. If I wanted to try a restaurant, I didn't wait for someone to ask me to go to the restaurant. I was a single woman. I earned my own money. I went to the restaurant. Alright, let's see how we're doing. Looking for the silk and viscose. Looks like it disappeared too much. Well, you'll see when light comes through it. Alright, I am going to rinse this out, and then we're going to start forming it over the glass to continue stretching it in the direction we want it to go. So give me a minute. We want all the soap out. And there's a lot of soap in here. So now's a good time to go take a bathroom or water break. And I'll be back. Alright, you lay there and dry up. Thank you. You come over here. It still has little soap in it, but I didn't do the soak with the vinegar, so, you know. I think that's better. And that's going to be gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got some really nice variations after this has been neutralized with the vodka. Vinegar. I feel like I've had a shot of vodka. I'll stretch it again, and then we can let it dry. Now, yeah, I won't fuss with that. Later or tomorrow, what time is it? Probably tomorrow, yeah, 4:20. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll finish this. When it's in the final dry stage, I'd like to put a ribbon or something around the base to make sure that it you know, crimps in the right place. So what do you think? Are you back yet? We're getting some good texture there. We'll get more texture as this shrinks more. I love French. I don't speak it except for a few words. I've always loved the sound of it. I always wanted to study in France, so I was motivated to learn it. And then I didn't go to France, and then had nobody to talk with. So I forgot what little I had learned, and I'd have to start all over again. Although nowadays I understand that they teach a much more practical way to learn a language, so that you can learn phrases that are not out of a little book, but you can actually learn to speak, or at least enough to get your point across without being rude. Oh yeah, that's going to be gorgeous. If I do the window, I don't know. I think because it's going to travel, I'm not going to take the chance with a window that's unsupported. The next one I'll practice with, I'll do like I planted these beads in it before, and they were too small. Well, one was cool, adorable, but they were too low, and yeah, it didn't work out right. Now these are supposed to be bone, but after being exposed to soap, they're changing color. Which makes me wonder. Yeah, they're not plastic. You can tell because the holes are all different. It's a hand-made thing. Well, I guess the difference in alkaline and acid is making these blue. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Gary. You can kind of see the colors. So you just turn it whatever way you want to see. And if you want to change the shape a little bit, you just have to get it wet and reshape it. Let it dry. See? It's really simple once you know what to do. And I just adore doing this, so I wish I could do more. Unfortunately, it does add up after a while. But doing small projects like this, you know, I really get, what do they say, a good bang for my buck. I'm going to go put this away where I can't knock it over and break the glass part. And let's see, you're going to need something to drip onto. Try that. So I have, I've been collecting these scraps here. I should make a bowl. You know, that's not a bad idea. I'll get it started because you know who would love this? I think Gloria. I'll make her a little vessel that can be opened up with her hands. The inside will be a little rough. We'll make the outside super soft. Definitely use some of this. It's great filler. It felt super fast and it's not expensive. In fact, this was basically because I got some of the money refunded on it because it stinks so bad. The smell goes away after washing, but you can't wash it before you work on it because it'll shrink the wool. It's so pretty and soft though. Alright, let's make sure we get this done right. First layer. Should be nice and cushy. My friend who is interested in doing more wet felting, she's really good at cross stitch, and she just gave me a bunch of little ones to mail to Gloria. So she just saved me from having to do a bunch of little paintings. Okay, so this is going to be the inside layer. We don't want more of that because it's going to be rough to the touch. We want something soft going on the outside. And I like this range here. Ah, darling, sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. I'll be back tomorrow as early as I can be. Love you, buddy. I'll be back tomorrow as early as I can get myself to the table. So, yes, we need to make sure that they're really sweet. I will give you some hearts also. As early as can be. Have a good night, honey. Rest well. I'll be here tomorrow making a mess. Or something. Making things. We need something more exciting in this. Let me get out my weird yarns. All right, pinks, purples. I just used some of that. Let's try something different. No, no, no. It's gotta be super soft. Oh, maybe, yeah. No. 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 Tarnishes. I used some of that in what I did for myself. Maybe we'll go with that. Wait. I used some of that in one of her paintings. Darn. No. think. Oh, think pink. That's crazy. Let's get some of this crazy stuff down. Now I used this without the gold. I took the gold out and I made my purse using those pinks, and it came out great. That's going to be the inside. And we actually work the inside out. All right, we're going to do it this way. Now we got it. Okay, so this is side 1, which I have to carefully manipulate. So I can flip it over with this. I forgot I should have used the net. But this is actually so coarse, the white fur, that it's not just immediately coming back up with me. Don't lift, don't lift. All right, now we got to get the colors down and then finish with the white to seal it all in. Yeah, it depends on what I've got available. I already have all this stuff on my table, and I think I actually made a mistake on this already because I moved too quickly to flip it over. But I will correct that. Now this has to be a little heavier because there's not going to be any light going through this, unlike the lanterns. This stuff, it's like ready to go. Look at that. I watch women who are doing this all day long, and they're just like they're dealing cards. They got their wool down pat. They got their pattern down. They're like ready to go. See, this is already like so light and fluffy. It's really easy to work quickly with this one. These, which came as a part of a kit, they're more of a drag because they're balled up into these little teeny weeny bags. If you've seen me do an unboxing before, it's like really stuffed in there, and it gets crimped in the wrong way, and sometimes it's not well packed. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you can tell the person really knew what they were doing, and other times you go, and this one had their 4-year-old help, which is possible. Well, this kind of stuff is done in association with farms most frequently. So I don't know how they process this stuff like in China. But in this country, I know that there are a lot of small farms, and they rely on selling the wool for yarn, because that's about 30% of their crop, I hear. Now I'm sure it varies from farm to farm, but it costs money to raise those sheep and money to shear them, and then you get all the shearing, which you have to do for the safety and good health of the sheep. But then you need to do something with that yarn or you just lose money. Like, all right, and this needs some more of the white on this side. We're gonna get a little more. Which way is it going? We gotta go this way. Well, I've been here for almost 2 hours, so it takes an average of 2 hours to make one hurricane lamp. Well, this is an odd shaped thing. And unfortunately, this white wool stinks to high heaven. That's why I got 50% or close to 50% back on it. Fortunately, like a couple of washes, soaking with the vinegar water, it gets rid of the worst of it. But right now, this smells like a wet sheep or wet something in the barnyard. It's not nice. Oh, I'm glad, Gary. Now, you need to knit. It's not knitting on this edge here, which is annoying. I have too much soap in it. It's still too floofy. So we're going to have to squeeze some of that out. You know what, we'll use the rolling pin. There we go. Oh, that excess soap and water. All right, let's get some more, because you know that's not the end of that. This is a stiffer bubble wrap than the usual cheap stuff at the dollar store. It actually wrapped something I received, and I recognized it as good bubble wrap, so I saved it. But I've been wearing it down to a frazzle. Okay, that's a little better. Still weird, but when it's cut open and turned into a bowl, I'll be able to work it some more. Now, when Maureen and I do this downstairs, we have the community room, and it has a kitchen. So I warned her, I said, if you can't stand the smell, or if you think you can, but then it gets too much, we have the kitchen right there. We can go in the kitchen and rinse what we're doing, and then go back to work on it. But one of the things that we'll have downstairs that we do not have in my apartment, aside from room, we've got a big fan. Big, powerful fan. So that's very helpful when you're trying to get smells away from you. All right. We must do some more of that. Hey, stay away. My little pancake. That reminds me, I made waffles the other day, and The minimum recipe is 1/3 cup, 1 1/3 cups of the powdered mix, and then, you know, your egg and oil and milk or water. I think water. Well, it makes 4 waffles, 4 nice sized waffles. So I eat one while I'm making the others, and I freeze the rest. So today, when I got hungry, I was able to just grab one out of the freezer, put a little butter on it, throw in the air fryer, and voila. If I had a regular toaster, I would have put it in the toaster. Although maybe not the toaster, because one of the things I noticed about this waffle maker, it does a round waffle, but it also kind of divides them into quarters. It has, you know, how they put the waffle pattern. Well, this one has a crisscross in them, you know, so it just, it's a deep cut. It's a deep Belgian waffle style waffle maker. And it, when I go to take it out, sometimes I don't get it out as one piece. It comes out into little quarters. But as it turns out, they're really perfect for dunking. I don't usually sit down to eat my breakfast. I tend to like do things while I'm eating. Like tonight, I'm having chicken thighs and jalapeno bourbon baked beans, which I really love. But I'll be, while I'm heating all that stuff up, I'll be sauteing green onions. And I'll eat those before I get to anything else. So greens first, and then your intestines will love you. They are good. And I got my waffle maker, excuse me. Well, one of the things I was looking for was a waffle maker with an adjustable temperature gauge, because I don't want anything that's just set, like, oh yeah, well now it's lightly cooked and now I've got to put it in there for a second time. I wanted temperature control. And almost none of them have temperature control. They're on or off. And I finally found one, and it was like $27 at Walmart. And it turned out to be a Belgian waffle with 7 temperature controls, you know. And it turns out you leave it on the highest one if you want it to be a nice crispy waffle. So I do, and I do. And once you mix the batter, which of course does not take long, I do it in a mixing cup, so I can just pour it out. I don't measure it by the cup. You can see what you're pouring in there, you know, after you realize how much is going to fit. Also, this one has an overflow ring around it, so even if I put in a little too much, it's not going to go squishing out all over the place. So I thought I got a great bargain. It feels kind of rickety, but it's actually pretty solid. So one of the waffles I made that came out so good, I call it a latke waffle. It's potato. I make potato pancakes with cheese and green onions and cook them in the waffle maker. And I learned if you want them extra crispy, they add a little rice flour, and that adds to the crispness of the outside. But the inside is still soft potato. I'm getting myself hungry. Well, I'm going to be leaving shortly because it's the 2-hour mark. And that's more than anybody needs to be sitting on their butt. And I am hungry. I had a waffle for my snack before I came here, and that's not enough. I did 2 loads of laundry. I was out of nightgowns and socks. So they're all taken care of. Everything is drying or dried and waiting to be put away. And we're almost done with this. Now, because this has a non-natural, unnatural, or also known as synthetic fibers on the inside of it, we want to really, really make sure that this is done and starting to shrink and shrivel and all that good stuff that says it's doing what I'm expecting. and then I can risk cutting it and removing the resist. So I might not do that tonight. We may do it tomorrow morning. Now, what I'm loving about this is I'm so enthusiastic that it gets me out of bed. When I get out of bed, when I go to make my tea, I also come over here and see what I did the night before. And I'm glad I can feel so enthusiastic about something like that. Rest well, dear. I will be signing off in just a minute. Matter of fact, I might as well make it now. If you're going to go, I need to unsoggy my towels. I'll probably come over here and roll this around a little bit between chores in the kitchen, but I want to get that chicken going because I really am hungry. So I'll see you tomorrow. Are you working tomorrow? Or do you have a Saturday off? Oh, you come in to say good night, goodbye, good morning. To be or not to be? Is that a question? I'm gonna be back tomorrow morning, and you're gonna be asleep if you're a good boy. I mean, some blow kisses in your direction. You're working till 2. Then you will see me in the afternoon if you come by. Where'd my little hearts go? Come on now. YouTube can be such a pain. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Mwah, mwah. And then have a wonderful rest of the day. I know, but don't think about the insanity. Think about how nice it's going to be to get home away from it. Have a great day. Yeehaw! Yeah, that's the kind of neighborhood he lives in. The hold my beer kind.